bigger and better, as Dad says, as the old man puts it. But how much better it can be, I don't know, because that was a pretty damn good cut.
Because see your fitness level is key.
It's gone out the window. You're fine to talk with the drinking you're doing.
Fruit juice only.
Yeah. This is it, boys.
Yay!
Hey mate, how you doing?
Yeah, good. You?
It's a sharp haircut.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Whoa!
When you met me, I had long hair.
Yes. Well, that's the good thing about that is it probably lasts you about 10 to 12 weeks, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean this is
Longer.
This is second cut. This is first cut. Yeah. I don't know if I'll do it again. I'll let it grow out a little bit.
It's all right, you know. When you're a good-looking bloke, you can get away with murder, can't you?
I just thought I'm not going to be around anyone that I have to impress. So, like, why not? I've always wanted to do it.
So what's happening in the hood then?
Not much. I'm surviving by playing Forza on my Xbox. That's keeping me relatively sane. But apart from that, it's just every day as it comes. How about you guys? How you doing?
Not too bad. I'm still working, so sort of as per normal at the moment. It's just quieter than usual. So, but no, it's all right. It's just strange, isn't it? Strange times. She's inside.
Yeah, how about you, Julian? How are you getting on?
Yeah, all right. We're ticking along. It's very quiet for the first 5 weeks, but then I think we sold two cars to key workers, and then since last week, we were allowed to actually sell to anyone as long as we delivered and maintained social distancing, which is a different type of sell as well. They call it distance selling. So there's a lot more onus on us giving everything we've got and giving the customer 14 days to back it if they don't like it, and they don't have to give a reason.
Yeah.
So if someone fancied an M5 for 2 weeks and wanted to take what, they could.
Yeah.
So that bit's a bit worrying, that side of things. So you sort of vet it and get to know the customer, and hopefully no one actually has tried to buy the M5 for 2 weeks, but it could happen, and that's the big worry.
Yeah. So far, it's all been okay then.
Yeah. But like Ed says, instead of doing 20 to 30 cars a month, we've probably done 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But equally, we've managed to get our overheads way down as well. So, but it's a loss-making situation.
Yeah. It's strange time for everyone. Although I'm still busy with work, working from home, pretty much every day. So I'm lucky to be in that position where my job's still there and the company's still going, kind of as it was before.
What do you do
that's one of the brilliant things about this situation is the, what do you call it, the digital economy or whatever. People have seen that they can work from home, and that's that business can keep going. I suppose as long as other businesses keep going though, because eventually those would slow down.
Yeah. Ed, I do marketing and account managing for a sports technology company. So
okay, cool.
It's online. So it's quite lucky that everything's online and we can all talk to each other and just carry on as if we were in the office. but
Yeah.
we're not. I think after this, I don't know if we'll actually go back to an office if there's a need to. I think it's nice to be with the people you work with and kind of have that social side of it, but we've kind of proven that we don't need to be there to get work done.
I think
So
a lot of people
it'll be interesting coming out of it. All right, so Z Cars, Ed, I heard you've sold your car. What's the plan?
Yes, so shocking story. We sold the car. We're not going anywhere. We're still planning to join in whenever it starts this year. But we're just in the process of building another car. So bigger and better, as Dad says, as the old man puts it. But how much better it can be, I don't know, because that was a pretty damn good car.
Yeah, I mean, you won all you won all but one races last year. So I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Now the pressure's on it for car battery. So
yeah,
it's a balloon. Yeah. Whoa. The joys of having kids around.
Yeah.
At least he's going like this.
That's it. Yeah, not yet. Anyway.
I wonder why there was a lot of laughter in the background.
Yeah, that's it. No, definitely. So yeah, no. So we're just in the process of building the car. All the interior and sort of the exterior's all been painted. It's like bright blue right now, so it's going to be pretty leery, this one. All the engines back in. The boys are just doing the rear end today, putting all the back in. So yeah, and I would say in the next sort of few weeks we should be able to get it running and go from there, really. So
what Nick was the engine in? Was it sound?
Yeah, pretty good, to be fair. It's done less miles, so yeah, it should be in a good state. I didn't take it out, but I think the old man took it out before he pulled it apart. But so it should be all right. But we've got plenty of panels spare as well now from the other car. So he scrapped. So he had another car that he was using loads of bits out of. That's now been scrapped. But we've obviously kept all the panels and that. So we've got a spare sort of panel of each part of the car, which is great as well. If anything does happen.
What was the what's the compression like, and what was the Vanos like? Because sometimes the Vanos can go a bit dodgy, can't they, on those engines?
Yeah, I wouldn't know, to be fair. I don't know if he actually looked into it that far. I think he just took it down the road. But once it's all running and back on its wheels and finished, I'll put it on a rolling road just to make sure everything's all right. And then final thing is to get to Rob to set it up. So once that's done, once we're allowed back out, we can start doing track days. So can't wait now, to be fair. It's been sort of over Christmas and that, I haven't really thought much about it. And we got back into work at the start of the year and we were flat out. So didn't really think much of it. But sort of the past few weeks, I've been like, really looking forward to getting back out there now. Being the Cadwell first one, it was going to be good, but a bit of a shame, but hey ho. It'd be interesting to see what they do.
I forgot what MSA UK or MS UK said that there was a lockdown until the beginning of June or end of June. Beginning of June, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, they were going to look back into it again, weren't they? But
so it's unlikely that we'll also do Snetterton, I guess, on the same basis because that was that the 28th of May?
Yeah, I think it was, wasn't it? There was early May and then there was late May, wasn't there?
Yeah. So
it's a shame, really. I saw Dan Reed put on that we might be missing the brands in India as well, which is another shame because that's always a good one.
Yeah, I think more probably it being moved rather than missing. I think the date. Well, currently the chat was from MSBR that we would yes, that is going to be on the same, instead of mini, whatever it was, mini challenge or whatever, it's going to be the touring cars. But they're looking then to move our date to somewhere else. So more of a reschedule than a cancellation, I think.
Okay,
so
cool.
Certainly that's the hoping currently.
Yeah. It's the other teammate. So Matt, on another note, Matt's flying with his car. He's pretty much caught us up building his, to be fair. So yeah, can't knock him at all. Like he's put it in his dad's garage, so he's had a right nightmare of a time. He still had to work for JCB. They kept him on and sort of furloughed pretty much most of their staff. I think he's one of 3 that's still sort of going, which is crazy. So he's had to work, but his partner's in a really high-risk situation. And they've spent about a year building their house, getting their house all done up and so they can move in. Moved into it for about 3 or 4 months, and he's had to be kicked back out and live back with his mum and dad. So he's been in a bit of a situation. Obviously, he hasn't seen the missus, but he's been flat out with the car because that's at his mum and dad's house. So, and his dad's been getting involved.
Oh, his dad has he?
Oh, that's nice.
I thought Matt thought he would not, don't touch it with a barge pole, keep away. Or he wasn't, or dad wasn't interested, or something.
He wasn't interested. He's been in racing for years, like donkey's years. But he was like, "Oh, I'm not interested. I'll just blah blah blah. I don't want to be touching all this." And Matt's had to sort of watch what he's been doing. Yeah, he's been literally getting home, and his old man's been flat out on the car doing this. He's sort of excused now. Is I want it out of my garage, but
it's a bug you just can't get rid of.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're on the same as where we are now.
And,
if not
and
a
the
bit
quality as well. It is a definite strip and rebuild, isn't it?
So he stripped and rebuilt. I don't think he's going as mad as we are, like with all new parts and stuff. But he's sort of, he's putting as much into it as he can. But he's still got to buy all his kit and stuff yet. So obviously that's a big layout there. So, but no, he's king. He's definitely king. So, which is good. Yeah.
Brilliant. We've got, I think Tim and Daz are pretty far, ahead with their builds as well.
Well, I think Tim's is ready now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he's just got to have Rob's got to set it up, and then that's it. I think it's done because he got another guy. Once it left us, he took it to another quad racer guy who works on BMs and stuff to basically get it all finished for him.
Brilliant.
So he's just picked it up there the other week. So yeah.
So how many new drivers do we have then, Julian?
Well, I guess, obviously we've just talked about Matt. We've got Daz, Tim, Richard was pretty, getting along with his build, and he's got all his parts. I haven't been in contact with him recently, but there's 4. I know Richard's dad, Christoph, was interested, but I don't think we'd see him this season, given we haven't seen a new car being bought or parts. And then I think Chris was obviously interested in. He's got a few spare cars now. He was looking to introduce people. Bless him. He's done a fantastic job already, but I think he's also got an opportunity. Has been talking to other people about it. So, potentially, I would say at least 4, and maybe 6.
Yeah,
and we've also got a Z3, which is a mate of Callum's. So we've got that to look forward to.
Nice.
Yeah, it'd be
also the Z3s have been tweaked a little bit to be able to compete with the 2.2s.
that'll be fun seeing them out there, especially if we got them all out in Cadwell. I think it'd be really, really close between the 2.2s and the Z3s.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was fairly close last time, wasn't it? To be fair, between them without any tweaks. So yeah, if they can bring the battle to the 2.2s, then you're laughing, really, aren't you? So it's good.
Yeah.
There is now the technology, you know, in the skunk works to make Callum's car that had a little oopsie last year at Brands. That's being in the stage of being rebuilt, and the engine that could go into that, I think, could compete with the Z4 3 litres head on. Whether it would ever or not, we'll see, but potentially.
What's he racing next year? Because he's got like 3 BMs now, and he's got 2 Z4s and a Z3.
He's got a stable.
I think he's got a type, hasn't he?
Callum's got Z1. He's bought Z1.
Yeah.
So the original 3 litre. Bruno has, you know, reworked the car basically. Not to the
So it's not a hard working car anymore. It's sort of back to where ours are, or
yeah. We sort of basically did a conversion, but Bruno then with his skill properly got it back on track. I think there's a slight issue still with intermittent power steering, but basically, you know, again, one of the problems was Vanos. There was a few issues with the anti-lock brakes, which, you know, Bruno sorted. So, you know, we expect to see Callum out in what we fondly call Z1.
Cool.
This season. So that would be interesting, and probably nice for him not to have, you know, me interfering with him, you know, metaphorically, you know, on track.
What are you planning to drive next year? Z3, the 2.2 or the Z3?
I would like to drive the 2.2, but I would also be really interested in driving the Z3 if Bernie's here, then I think him driving the Z3 with the other Z3 would be great. But if not, I might drive the Z3, the red Z3.
Cool. That's fine.
Yeah, sounds good. How are you guys keeping yourselves entertained when you're not, well, now nothing's racing's going on? How are you kind of keeping that insanity of not being able to race down?
Like I say, I sort of only just started missing it, so it's sort of pretty new to me. And being still at work, it's kind of, I'm sort of getting around it. And coming home, the kids keep you busy anyway. But yeah, it's not really sort of been a worry of mine, if that makes sense. But no, I'm definitely looking forward to it. But yeah, just haven't sort of really, you know, had to sort of. If I was stuck at home, not working, then obviously I think it'd be a different ball game. I'd have to bloody race the van around the roads or something stupid. But we're doing all right at the moment, to be fair.
How about you, Julian? How are you keeping race sane?
Well, I'm lucky enough to watch Jamie on this rig, and we're sort of custodians of it at the moment. But in anticipation of it going, we have bought the same Cobra setup, and we've sort of starting just to build the sim up. I find it incredibly difficult to drive a sim. I feel like I've just missed the games console era, and I feel like when I'm in the sim that there's no sort of feedback, but I then watch Jamie and it's as though he's in a race car and he'll do a lap at least 4, let's say a 2-minute lap, he'll be sometimes 10 seconds faster than me. I'll put 1 lap in occasionally and get within 4 or 5 seconds, more by luck than judgment, and the next lap I'll just fall off. Whereas Jamie is doing this, like clockwork, and he's now sort of a mate of his, Clyde, is doing V8, muscle racing things, and some of these guys are now a similar distance ahead of Jamie. So whereas I would put in a 2:19, Jamie would be a 2:09, and they're doing 2:01, and you just think, my God, how do they do it? And a lot, I think the devil is in the setup. What we're learning is, if you can get the car set up for the track and get used to the car and put the time in, the seat time, your times do come down. But it's a big investment. Jamie will be on that for an hour a day, 2 hours a day sometimes. And so that's last week at Bathurst, he did a 2-hour race. Just the concentration, and it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. But not being able to feel the movement of what the car's doing, not that it normally helps me that much anyway, but you can see, if you're willing to put the money, and it's not lots of money compared with probably what a season's racing we do costs, but if you are willing to do it and put the time in, there's a huge amount of benefit, I think, to be got from it.
Chris has got one, hasn't he? So he's pretty sort of on point with his as well, to be fair. So it works quite well.
Oh,
I mean,
James.
Chris actually looks like a race car as well, from memory. Not only is it a seat, but it looks like, a Formula One. It's quality.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, who are you?
I've no idea. No one knows.
Get off my mate's computer.
All right, mate. How we doing?
Not bad, and you?
Is that James's younger brother?
No, it's one with the good sort of couple of meters of hair growing on the top.
Wow.
Hello, Travis. Yeah, sorry guys. I've literally been cleaning the gutters, so yeah, not quite finished yet. But I lost track of time.
It's better than being face down in the gutter, James.
Well, that's true. That's true. and we all would know that. Oh,
so where are the glasses, James? Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you'd gone in for the IOP or something like that.
No. I'm. It's just purely because you're all close up, so it's fine. I don't need them. So I just need them when I'm pit manoeuvring someone on the track, or doing something like that, so I can precisely knock them off. Oh dear. How's everyone? How are you doing? You all good?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah.
Family all healthy, Ed?
Yeah. We haven't sort of we've been quite lucky, to be fair. So
yeah,
it's been all right. It's been tough to keep away from the family, sort of like the mum and dad and people like. But it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As long as everyone's healthy and stuff, that's the main thing, isn't it? We can all sort of deal with everything else, I guess. But having said that, I'm hoping it gets back to normal pretty quick. But
definitely, yeah.
But as you can tell, I've come back home, so I took the brave decision to come back and get some meals cooked for me and stuff. So it was tough, but someone's got to do it. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so lovely.
So James, tell me, you know our new Z3 driver, Ash?
Yes, yeah.
So have you seen him drive since he's got the car?
We've been on the track day at the same time as him, but I've not been in with him or anything like that. I've just been out on track at the same time. So I think Jamie said earlier he got pulled in for a black flag or something. So he must have been doing something fairly speedily. But no, I don't know. I don't know. Sort of, I haven't been up close with his driving, shall we say? So see.
What do you think the Z3 might be able to achieve this year when we get out in the right hands?
Well, I mean, it depends, I guess, what sort of spec we're talking about with the Z3. But I think, as we've seen, even with a couple of issues at Snetterton last year, it was able to certainly give the 2.2s a good run for their money, that's for sure. And if you tune it up a little bit more, I think, especially if you got like a wet day at Brands Indy or something like that, and you had a little bit more power with the lightweight, narrower tyres, it could spring a surprise and get up and amongst the 3 litres. But I think, in the hands of someone as capable as Ed, it might be quite tricky. So,
Thanks.
I'll have my 10 quid later.
You need to come back and join us anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think, as I said, it depends what sort of state of tune as well. So, the Z3 will be in, because obviously it can be, depending on how much magic's been waved at it, could be quite a different proposition. So, yeah.
Quality.
I can hear some interesting music in my headphones there. Is that the loading music for Jamie doing his iRacing? Is he? There you go.
He is.
Getting his time.
Do you know what? Part of me was expecting to see him in full race gear, gloves, maybe even a helmet or something like that.
He put a shirt on just for us, actually.
Yeah.
Show him the glasses, JJ. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, the Terminator glasses.
Oh, yeah. Is that iRacing or Flight Simulator?
They need aviators for that.
Spangle grinding or something.
I like that. Yeah, very good.
All right, so Jamie asked this question earlier, so I'll open it up again.
Yeah.
If you didn't have to worry about family or passengers and money was no object, which car would you get? It's your pleasure car. Which one would you get? Ed, any idea?
Now you're asking. Probably, I don't know. I'd probably go for like a classic American, like muscle car or something, or a hot rod or something. I've always wanted something like that. Yeah, if it was track related, I would probably go down the route of, I don't know, really. Never really thought about it. Maybe a Cosy or a Mark 1 Escort, something like that. Maybe, I don't know. Just something a bit more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Julian?
Well, I'm not sure. Like Ed, I mean, that's a tough one. The first thing that would pop into my head would probably be one of the last air-cooled 911s, something like that. I really like, and it's probably my age, but I really like the new Porsche Targa. So
that's an age thing.
More maybe a GT car than a point and squirt car. So something like that. So I've got to say that it's probably going to be a few quid. But I think there's some great value performance cars that can be got for not very much money. And Jamie and I have just been on about just under 7K walk before we got back, and he was saying, what I said, what did you talk about? And he said, what car would you like? And I thought, blimey, what did you say? And he said, well, a 6-cylinder a 6-cylinder Z4, you know, with the twin turbo, and you know, you can get those for 10 grand, you know, with all that performance. You know, what would it be like turning one of those into a race car?
Yeah,
That'd
that's
be
it.
yes.
You know,
If
That'd be a lot
you
of fun.
almost, you know, that could be a future.
with our technology, we could do that for 20 to 25 grand. As you know, a finished race car. You know, the next 5 years of seeing, you know, as long as they don't go shooting up in price, the opportunity to keep the Z cars racing, you know, show going and introducing new cars, you know, is going to be fantastic.
And what would you do with the sort of hard top roof with those?
I guess at the moment that they're worth about 600 quid if you were to resell them. Okay. And you know, given the weight of them and the weight of the glass, you know, if you got those in GRP with a lightweight screen,
perspex, yeah,
it might cost you what you sold the hard one for. You could pay for the, you know, double that, you'd get a solution for a GRP one.
Yeah.
So, you know, like everything, it's what would you do? You know, what's the benefit, and how much work does it take, and who would it include to, you know, build their own race car? You know, if we want to try and go racing and make it as cheap as possible, you'd probably keep it. You'd keep it on.
Yeah.
Maybe take the glass out and put you know, a 100 quid polycarb thing in. But
yep.
You know,
interesting.
You know, what we got to look forward to it in you know, 5 or 10 years that we can race in Z cars is exciting.
Definitely. That's cool.
James, you're no worries about family or passengers, dream car.
well, earlier it was either a Z4 coupe, you know, the 3-litre SI one, or if the budget was a little higher, obviously, you know, something like a McLaren F1 GTR, the original 90s, normally aspirated manual supercar. It's yeah, that would definitely get my vote. But you know, just a couple of lottery wins away. Not even like one lottery win, like literally 2 of them. So yeah, but yeah, if money was no object, yeah. But yeah, we've as you said, there's plenty of potential with a few different options, isn't there? So that's always good.
What about you?
Well, I immediately thought the car that I currently have, which is my Z3, because when I got it, I didn't worry about family or passengers. But so it was the car just for me. I didn't really have to worry about anyone. But going away from the BMW or the Z3, I'd probably have something like a RS, because that's the GT3 RS, the Porsche. It's the first time that I thought, okay, Porsches are really cool, because I saw them and, you know, everyone has them. It kind of seemed like okay, you're a mid-tier, like account manager or something in a city firm, and you've just got your pay rise or your bonus, you go and buy a Porsche. That's what Porsches are. They're not anything great. I got in one and it was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the GT3 RS.
Where was that?
Sorry?
Where was that? Where did you do that?
This was when I was in the States for holiday. One of my uncle's friends had one. So he took me for a ride, and it was the naturally aspirated one. It was UK gearbox in it, and it was just brilliant. So I thought, actually, you know what, this is an amazing car. So I've opened my eyes to it, to Porsche a lot more now.
Yeah. To be fair, we said the Cayman GT4 earlier as well, me and Jamie, didn't we? So that was another one, to be fair. But I mean, any of them, you know, if anyone's watching, you know, I'll have one. Either any of them.
I just like my Z3 back on the road, actually.
Yeah, it's tricky at the minute. You can't really do much, can you? So if it's not with you,
no, it's back in London. It didn't have an MOT when I came up, but I've got exhaust parts for it. I've got the rear springs for it. I've got brake lines for it, and I'd probably be done with it, and it'd be ready to go back on the road by now.
Yeah.
But sadly, it's not here. And my other project car went to a garage for MOT before the lockdown, and it's still there. We haven't been able to get it back. So I've had no to work on, but I brought my toolbox with me, and I've done nothing with it. Although I did get my quad bike working again. It's been sat in the shed for a good few years. Got a new battery for it, put the fuel in, and it started up. So that's been good.
Ed's the quad bike man, aren't you?
Yeah, it's nothing too special.
What bike is it?
It's Kazuma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like a 110 cc.
Yeah.
It was fun when I was, 13, 14, and now my little brother's learning on it.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
The beauty of that is you don't have to have a car license to ride one, do you?
No. It's well, we've got a field that we can go into, so that's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not road legal.
No.
Oh, okay. Get off.
What's that green thing?
Green thing.
Green that bit there.
That's who's
No,
talking.
it's not one of my bogies, is it, Travis?
Hanging around the screen. Yeah, so we've been keeping busy here.
Yeah, I bet you have. Yeah.
We had a trampoline to build today, didn't we? Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mummy keeps spending. That's the issue we've got in this lockdown period.
Yeah.
We keep finding new stuff every day I'm coming home from work. Oh, I just bought this.
Yeah. Are you still all right with work? Are you still able to do some stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, we're still. I'm still able to work. We're quite secluded where we are. So
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Stop. We've just quietened down. That's the only thing. But we're still on a daily basis. We're still doing plenty of work. It's just not so much as we had before. So yeah.
All right, so let's do some quick fire questions. If we could only have 2 rounds for the Z series this season, unfortunate, but if we could only have 2, where would you have them?
It's got to be, for me, Cadwell. I never thought I'd actually enjoy that track so much, but the last couple of years has been absolutely brilliant there, to be fair. And it's the only track that I've actually felt sick at in the past. I've never. The first time I ever drove it, I was like, it's like a roller coaster ride. Yeah. Genuinely. And my dad was like, oh, stop being stupid. And then, right, hang on. Go down. Go away. And he said, oh, don't be stupid. And then of course, he went out last year at it and he was like, yeah, you're right. It's like the same. Yeah. So, definitely there. And then it's a tough choice between Brands Indy or Donington. Which one have we done? Donington GP.
The short one. I think we got the national. National. Yeah.
It's got to be a choice of them two, I would say. Yeah. So,
how about you, Julian?
Silverstone GP has always been a good one. Well, yeah, I'd love Silverstone GP, but we haven't done it. Yeah. I've only done it at the Burkett in the car, so
yeah. There's a smidge of sweat for that.
Yeah, a bit better off with the boat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, are we allowed foreign rounds or?
No, it's the ones that were on the calendar.
Oh, Macau.
You can't come up with Spa or.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna go. What was I? Portimao, definitely Portimao. What else?
Forty what?
Portimao. The newest
It's
track.
not
they
a drink,
built-
Julian.
It's that south of Portugal. It's in southern Portugal. It's a really good track. Give it a Google. It's fairly new, but the undulation, it's really long. They used it for a couple of years, but I think there's been a few issues there. But it's really, really great track. Certainly for a new one, anyway. Where else will I go?
I think James is trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
To go with
yeah. And then I do want to do it at some point, to be fair. But the other one, I love Brands GP. I really love that. That was really good. When back in, was it 2014 when I did that? That was great as well for a UK one. So yeah, if I had to pick two, I reckon they'd be my two.
All right, can you pick two from the Z Cars calendar?
Sorry, that wasn't a very good corporate answer, was it? I would go. Brands. Oh, so this is quite tricky, actually. I think Donington is good. Donington, like Ed said, I'd agree with that one. That's a nice fast-flowing track, isn't it?
Alton Park's going to be good.
Yes,
that'd be good. Z4.
Of course. Do you know what? I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm gonna rob that idea clean off you there, Ed, and say Alton Park. Yeah, Alton Park and Donington. I think would be two. And if Brands GP was to ever enter there, that would be a nice one. But so we'll see whatever happens with maybe. You mentioned having to, sharing calendars or seeing what happens with that. So that'll be interesting. But yeah. I think all the tracks are really good, to be honest with you. So they're all good.
Julian, your two?
I guess for me, green pastures of Alton Park. I've seen Jamie and Ed race round there. It was a captivating track, and I think in some areas quite technical. So, excited about that. It'd be hugely disappointing if we didn't get that. And the bomb hole followed by Coram, with Snetterton 300 or 200. Obviously, with the technical infield of Snetterton 300, I just think it's fantastic. If you had to pick one track to go to and race every day, it would be Snetterton 300 for me, just for the variety and what it gives you.
We might be doing that anyway.
I think yeah. To be fair, it's a really good track, and it does have a really good variety. I think one of the reasons I didn't mention is we've almost been spoilt with it because we've gone there a lot, which has been great. So you sort of almost not take it a little bit for granted with the calendar, but it's one of the almost the staples, or has been a staple of the Z Cars sort of calendar, and it suits the cars really well, I think, as well, actually, because you've got a good range of fast stuff, slower stuff, where you can sort of feel the handling and the balance of the cars. So it's a really good circuit to sort of test your car out on as well, because you've got a good mix. Sorry, yeah, go on. Just hop in, just jump in there.
So they would be, absolutely itching to get to Alton Park. Having seen Ed and Jamie round there, it was worth the effort to get there and the reward for seeing them race. Snetterton 300. Last year we were very lucky to go to Thruxton, which again, if you haven't seen, cars come out in your rear view mirror going on to what's that last straight?
Oh.
The last. I mean, you only brake twice at Thruxton, but if you've ever seen 3 cars in your rear view mirror come behind you as they come round that corner on that last straight. If it looks as though you're being attacked by 3 jet fighters, that'll stay with me forever. So that would be the other one that I'd love to go and us to visit one day. If we are allowed to go off piece, James.
All right.
How about you?
Oh, me? Cadwell. I think
Jamie
Cadwell
won.
and Donington.
He did a 2:03, which is 3 seconds better than his previous practices. So good.
Nice.
Well done, Jamie.
So Cadwell, sorry.
Yeah, Cadwell and Donington. Yeah, I think both of them are quite challenging. I think Donington's a bit faster of a track than Cadwell is, but you don't get the same kind of danger on other tracks as you do as Cadwell. It's half the track is barriers and trees.
Yes.
So, so yeah, I'd love to be able to drive them at some point. It's the Hall Bend or the Craner Curves. Which set is the best in your opinion?
Say that again.
The Craner Curves at Donington or the Hall Bend at Cadwell. Which set is the best?
Is the Horn Bend coming on the descent when you flick right and left?
No,
it's at the end of a lap by the trees and the. It's after you come up the hill and then the right left bit there.
Off Camber right.
Wet or dry?
Yeah.
Just put a curveball in there. Just put a curveball in there.
Yeah. Both,
Yeah,
either. Answer for both then.
I would definitely say Craner's in the dry, but probably the Cadwell in the wet, I would say. You can control the Cadwell more. Cadwell, them corners are slower at Cadwell, so you can sort of control it more than you can Craner's. You just want to hammer it through there, and if you get it wrong, like I did on the last lap of that bloody race that James done me on.
That was the old hairpin though.
Coming down Craner's, yeah, it's just coming to the end of it, and I just couldn't get it right every lap, and he obviously got it dialed, and I didn't. So, but definitely, Craner's I would say is the one for me. It's just so fast, especially in the dry. It's amazing. You just got to hold it. As long as your tyres sort of hold out, you can proper hammer it through there. It's great.
I think if you ever had a passenger seat in your car, a race car, and you took you took your mum out or out, and you said, "Get in, mum. I just want to show you what the Craner Curves feel like." Anyone would be absolutely shitting themselves in the right hands going round Craner Curves, full tilt, and then the braking into the old hairpin. I've got to say, you probably couldn't beat that really for star quality surprise on your passenger's face.
Yeah. I did take my mum out round Castle Combe actually. Back in that was back years ago. She loved it, but you know what my mum's like, so
Come on, James, faster.
That was it. Yeah, pretty much. I got like a critique at the end about where I could go a little bit quicker here. Where I could use a bit more curve there. So but no, I agree. I think the Craner Curves and into the old hairpin, like you said, I think that's sort of all one section is really. It is really good in anything. It's always a challenge, and it's really nice. It just feels nice. It flows well. I think Cadwell, the Hall Bends are quite tricky. See, I'd say almost in the wet, Cadwell sort of scared me to death a bit in the wet because like where you go under the trees and stuff, there it can be really slippy. And I sometimes found the grip was a bit inconsistent, and you'd sort of be okay, and then suddenly you'd be facing the grass or the wall or whatever. But I love at Cadwell actually the bit I really love was around but the first corner where you almost against similar to the Craner Curves where you're really hanging it on and then it goes to that left and then into the right. That's really nice as well with the transition. You've got to control the weight as it then goes to the right, and then also as you go up over the hill as well, you know, the sort of that long left, then you chuck it right and go up the hill. That's something as well. So it's two really good tracks to be fair. But yeah, I think I'd almost swap Ed's thing about the wet and the dry though, because Donington the wet I actually thought was all right, but Cadwell in the wet just scared me to death. So yeah, I think I'll swap that. But otherwise, yeah, I think I agreed with you guys. Any other questions? They're good questions, actually. I quite good.
Yeah.
The only two that I thought of on the spot.
What about if you had a choice going back to like no money, no worries, and that sort of stuff? What if you had the choice of any race series? What would you choose?
What, can you even go back in time or not?
Why not?
yeah, go for it.
I mean, everyone, like the boring answer. I mean, obviously, everyone loves super touring and all that sort of stuff. The mid-90s touring cars, that's sort of, I think. But I think, driver's point of view. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something really cool that still had like the manual dog box. So you know, the manual box but no clutch, that sort of stuff. So that'd be really early super touring, or even like Super 2000, the 320 SIs. They had those as well in the World Touring cars, or even the early days of GT4 as well. Where they used like the E92 M3, and there was some sort of like the early Genettas in that would have been cool to racing because they were quite road car based still. Or do you know what, actually scrap it, V8 supercars. There you go, done.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
yeah. I was just thinking back to what I've done, sort of simulate stuff as well, and I absolutely loved them. Got on with them so well. I love something where you got a bit of, you really got to think about it, all the weight transfer. They're like a bit like real life, and that's what I love about the Z cars. You've got a nice balanced car, but that you really have to think about. You really have to drive because you've still got weight transfer. You still have to drive it. It doesn't do it all for you, but it's nicely balanced. But it's still a lot of fun. It doesn't sort of take the fun out. But it's a good sort of combo between something that's so analog and requires your input, something that's also really nice to drive and rewarding when you get it right. Yeah, there you go. That's my roundabout, long-winded and waffly answer.
You stayed on topic this time, James. Well done.
I do try.
I guess bangs per buck. A Z4 3-litre, you know, depending on how you build it, is great value, racing. If you haven't got a huge knowledge and you want to do remove and refit, you could go racing for 10 to 15 grand. And if you love that part of the build and you want to go further, it still rewards the building of the vehicle as well. So Dad and Matt are doing. The joy is actually before you even get on track. And then seeing that the quality of that car, come out. You feel sort of proud to be part of that sort of quality, but knowing that it isn't silly over the top racing.
Yeah, that's right.
To be fair, I think a full grid of the 3-litre Z4s. I think it'll be amazing to have that level of performance in a sort of single class type environment. Because normally with a single, where you have all the cars the same, it tends to be slower stuff or things that aren't quite as nice to drive. But that actually got the combination of the closest to the racing and also having something that's really, really fun to drive as well, which I think is really cool because they are a lot of fun. I mean, Ed, you've I was going to say made it look easy driving them in some respects the last year or so, but
yeah,
they're a lot of fun.
And they look sexy as well, don't they?
Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry, the cars, right?
Yeah, they're definitely not.
Hang on a minute. Oh no.
Yeah. No, I remember I've seen Ed Cadwell driving from his GoPro. He's just sat there like this.
I
He's like, he
do
qualified
like
like
watching
2
Ed's
seconds
videos.
faster than the person in second, and he's just there like, yeah. And Julian in
I've always been.
3 is there like this. Arm shaking.
I've always been told that even in the karting days, like, oh, you always look like you're racing a bloody armchair, like you're too comfortable. And I've always been the same. So, yeah, I've always been the same, and I don't know. It's just I always changes if I if I get wound up in the car, then I get erratic.
Yeah.
But then I'm a lot slower then. So it's always been trying to keep your head and just keep remembering what you got to do, sort of thing.
Yeah. They always say smooth is fast. So, and like, yeah, I mean, I've seen your videos, and as you said, it's nice. It looks like I like the phrase "racing an armchair." That's good. I like that. It's almost that relaxed sort of in the car, sort of state in the car, isn't it? That sort of it keeps you really smooth and online. Oh, I didn't know whether Ed was just completely unresponsive or whether he's. I think his internet's just paused, doesn't it?
Maybe. Yeah. Going back to the series question, the racing series question, I have no idea. The only racing series I've been heavily following is F1 or Z cars, but I think I'd love to be able to go back and where they used to build the cars. Like you had Bruce McLaren building the McLarens and that era of Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd probably want to go into if it probably maybe one a bit more or more recent, maybe a like a Carrera Cup, something like that.
Yeah, the only thing with they're quite a weird car to drive because they're so soft, the Carrera Cup cars, and there's actually limited adjustment stuff in them. They're quite an unusual sort of single make thing to drive, but in some respects they've got less adjustability than Z cars, for example, than a 3-litre Z4. So they're quite an unusual thing to drive. I was backed off actually when I was chatting to Ricardo. Obviously, he's driven them as well. It's quite an unusual, sensation because they're so soft for a race car. And you'll see that at the Formula One weekends. You'll see them; they can almost just drive clean over all the curbs that the Formula One cars can't even touch, though, because they're just so soft. And so they're quite an odd one to drive. I did a bit of work with them years ago, and Ricardo said the same thing. So it's quite interesting. So. But yeah, it's all interesting. But how do you think it's all looking, Julian? For I know we're still recording, but I was going to say, is it all okay? Do you think they're gonna, with the sort of the calendar? How do you think they're going to work that? Have you had any sort of signals from them as to what they might do?
One sort of reassuring signal that obviously with the touring cars.
Yeah.
With touring cars taking the brand slot, that they're working actively to look how to reposition that weekend for us.
Yeah. Have you just said, oh, go on then, we'll just support the touring cars? Go, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of an inconvenience, but yeah, we'll do it in this occasion.
They did say, actually, if you could get 5 more drivers out on grid, you'd be supporting them. So, this time next year, maybe it'll happen.
Yeah. Well, that's that would be amazing. But yeah, I guess as long as they're giving good signals, that's good. So
definitely, always good, very supportive.
Yeah, they are great on the MSVR guys. So
yeah, but very supportive, and as soon as that communication was out, Dan was brilliant to capture that. It was great, and literally as Dan's communication came out, MSVR got in contact saying, you might have seen this, and we're working to reschedule it, and we'll let you know how it all goes. So, right now, like Ed said, the tingling feeling we're getting about even talking about going racing is great. if and when we go racing, you know, it will be, you know, amazing feeling, an amazing feeling to get away from, you know, where we are right now. So
I think
can't wait.
excited drivers maybe doing some stupid things because they're too excited when they first get out on track. Mistakes.
Well, I've never known that, but you know, let's see.
Oh dear. I think. Well, hopefully everyone will channel their excitement in a good way and a precise way. Should we put it like that?
Yeah.
I'm sure they will. So,
Exactly.
no, that's good. That's good to hear though, because it's all so uncertain that that's good to hear. And as you said, it'll be nice. There'll be loads of great positives about going back. So it'll mean hopefully we're moving on with things, and you know, we're getting on top of stuff, and also we can start doing the things we enjoy as well. And if everyone's healthy and everyone's safe, then that's great. But yeah, it doesn't stop us all really looking forward to the moment when we can do it. So that's great. And Jamie said earlier we've got quite a few new drivers as well for next year. Julian, I know I've seen a few of the sort of bits that you put out about it, but a good few more drivers, which will be really good.
Yeah, we've got you know, 4 to 6, Ash in a Z3, and then Matt, Daz, Tim, and Richard in Z4, 3 litres, and then a few others bubbling, you know, along, you know, that might make the season, but given the circumstances,
it's tricky, isn't it?
Might not.
Chris did say he's got somebody that's interested in his car. Whether that's been pulled off or not, I'm not too sure. But that was quite a while ago now, so I don't know. I haven't spoken to him in a long time, to be fair. Kept in touch with Steph, and he's keen. He sort of even said the other week that he's actually cleaned his car because it had mould on it. So that's a big surprise.
Is this Steph?
Yeah, we had the car from him probably at the start of this year, just for skinning and Dad to do some bits on it, just to get it sort of up and running again. But he took it back to go on a track day, and he's on about bringing it back again because they've done a list of parts that it needs and stuff, and then Rob's going to set it up for him. So Roland got his Z4 set up just before lockdown, and he managed to get out on a track day, and he couldn't sort of believe how much difference it was once Rob had got his hands on it, sort of thing, and done his bit. And you know, we've said it to so many people to get him to set it up because he knows what he's doing and that, and it's just changes the car completely. It turns it into a completely different ball game. So yeah, it's
definitely agree with that. You know, once you've got the car built, a decent setup by someone like Rob, you know, is almost imperative. And then of course it never stops after that, because Dad's always said, you know, every change you make, every track you go to, you'll need to do some tweaks and make sure you record them and keep building on your experience.
That's right. Yeah, keep a little black book.
That's it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Setup is really important to get a good baseline, even for maybe newer drivers that are coming in, because you want to know that your car is in the right place to start with, that then you can start pushing on and learning with, rather than having to battle any other issues that you shouldn't really, need to battle even if you're starting up. I'd agree. I think it's sort of essential to get a good baseline setup, because it does make a difference on these cars. They're powerful rear drive cars, so if you don't have it in the right window, obviously makes it a bit more tricky to drive than if you've got it where you need it. So yeah, for sure.
All right. I
Brilliant.
think we should wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, it's great to hear everyone's good and everything, and all well and keeping good and keeping active and stuff. So that's great.
Yeah, it's definitely did.
Thanks for organising this. Great to see you guys, and can't wait to get out there.
No, that's it. Definitely. Yeah,
Definitely.
Good do this more often to keep our hopes up.
Yeah.
Nice one,
We can get a
guys.
few more
Definitely.
people as well.
Yeah, sure. I'll say if you give a bit of notice, and we can, see you can
Yeah,
do
this
it.
was quite last minute, but
Yeah, no,
why
it's,
not?
it's absolutely
Wherever
no,
we're
it's
going to
great.
be, it's Saturday and we're locked down.
Clearing the gutters as it turned out. But no, that's great. Really good to speak to all you guys. Best of luck to Jamie with his iRacing as well.
Yeah.
Expect nothing less than a win. Brilliant. Keep
Right,
keep well, guys. See you
Take care.
later.
Nice one. Bye.
Don't you see I'm shy? 'Cause when I